Good day. My name is Christina Chavez Nelson, and I will be the worship leader for this virtual service. We welcome you to this virtual gathering of First Unitarian Universalist Church of Stockton. We are glad you chose to visit us online today and hope that you will find here what you are seeking. Stockton is the most diverse city in the United States. Here at First Unitarian Universalist Church of Stockton, we embody that diversity, for we are a community of individuals holding many different beliefs, coming from many different places, and each progressing on our own journeys of life and faith. We join together in our commitment to care for humanity and to shape a better, healthier, and more hopeful world. We promise to accept and encourage all those persons of goodwill who gather here, recognizing that we all continue to grow and learn throughout our lifetimes. We especially welcome and stand with LGBTQI2S+ persons, even as we seek to welcome all persons of every age, every ability, every status, and every shade of skin pigment. We strive to make our community a place of peace and acceptance, love and nurture, even as we challenge ourselves and others to live more faithfully according to the values of Unitarian Universalism. Our opening words are number 192 in Lifting Our Voices by Robert Walsh, adapted. When the great plates slip and the earth shivers, and the flaw is seen to lie in what you trusted most, look not to more solidity, to weighty slabs of concrete poured or strength of cantilevered beam to save the fractured order. Trust more the tensile strands of love that bend and stretch to hold you in the web of life that's often torn, but always healing. The shifting plates, the restive earth, your room, your precious life, they all proceed from love, the ground on which we walk together. And now our chalice lighting is from the writing duo, poets and artists Flying Edna. My son Nathaniel is helping. This is the real work. Every day, getting up, loving the world again. And now our words of affirmation.
We believe in love.
Love is the only doctrine of this church.
We believe in truth.
The quest for truth is our sacrament.
We believe in helping others.
And service is our prayer.
We believe in the sacredness of life.
To dwell together in peace, seek knowledge and freedom, serve humanity and fellowship, and cherish the earth and its creatures. This do we covenant, each with the other. The story for all ages today is The Last Dream of Old Oak, adapted from Hans Christian Andersen. In the forest, high up on the steep shore, and not far from the open sea coast, stood a very old oak tree. It was just 365 years old, but that long time was to the tree as the same number of days might be to us. We wake by day and sleep by night, and then we have our dreams. It is different with the tree. It is obliged to keep awake through 3 seasons of the year and does not get any sleep till winter comes. Winter is the time for rest, its night after the long day of spring, summer, and autumn. On many a warm summer, the ephemera, the flies that exist for only a day, had fluttered around the old oak, enjoyed life, and felt happy. And if, for a moment, one of the tiny creatures rested on one of his large fresh leaves, the tree would always say, "Poor little creature, your whole life consists only of a single day. How very short! It must be quite melancholy." "Melancholy? What do you mean?" the little creature would always reply. "Everything around me is so wonderfully bright and warm and beautiful that it makes me joyous." "But only for one day, and then it is all over." "Over?" repeated the fly. "What is the meaning of all over? Are you all over too?" "No, I shall very likely live for thousands of your days, and my day is whole seasons long. Indeed, it is so long that you could never reckon it out." "No? Then I don't understand you. You may have thousands of my days, but I have thousands of moments in which I can be merry and happy. Does all the beauty of the world cease when you die?" "No," replied the tree. "It will certainly last much longer, infinitely longer than I can even think of." "Well then," said the little fly, "we have the same life to live, only we reckon differently." And the little creature danced and floated in the air, rejoicing in her delicate wings of gauze and velvet, rejoicing in the balmy breezes laden with the fragrance of clover fields and wild roses, elder blossoms and honeysuckle. From the garden hedges, wild thyme, primroses and mint, and the scent of all these was so strong that the perfume almost intoxicated the little fly. The long and beautiful day had been so full of joy and sweet delights that when the sun sank low, it felt tired of all its happiness and enjoyment. Its wings could sustain it no longer, and gently and slowly it glided down upon the soft waving blades of grass, nodded its little head as well as it could nod, and slept peacefully and sweetly. The fly was dead. "Poor little ephemera," said the oak. "What a terribly short life." And so, on every summer day, the dance was repeated, the same questions asked, and the same answers given. The same thing was continued through many generations of ephemera. All of them felt equally merry and equally happy. The oak remained awake through the morning of spring, the noon of summer, and the evening of autumn. Its time of rest Its night drew nigh. Winter was coming. Already the storms were singing, "Good night, good night." Here fell a leaf, and there fell a leaf. We will rock you and lull you. Go to sleep, go to sleep. We will sing you to sleep and shake you to sleep, and it will do your old twigs good. They will even crackle with pleasure. Sleep sweetly, sleep sweetly. It is your 365th night. Correctly speaking, you are but a youngster in the world. Sleep sweetly. The clouds will drop snow upon you, which will be quite a coverlid, warm and sheltering to your feet. Sweet sleep to you, and pleasant dreams. And there stood the oak, stripped of all its leaves, left to rest during the whole of a long winter, and to dream many dreams of events that had happened in its life. As in the dreams of men, the great tree had once been small. Indeed, in its cradle, it had been an acorn. According to human computation, it was now in the 4th century of its existence. It was the largest and best tree in the forest. Its summit towered above all the other trees and could be seen far out at sea, so that it served as a landmark to the sailors. It had no idea how many eyes looked eagerly for it. In its topmost branches, the wood pigeon built her nest, and the cuckoo carried out his usual vocal performances, and his well-known notes echoed amid the boughs. And in autumn, when the leaves looked like beaten copper plates, the birds of passage would come and rest upon the branches before taking their flight across the sea. But now it was winter. The tree stood leafless, so that everyone could see how crooked and bent were the branches that sprang forth from the trunk. Crows and rooks came by turns and sat on them and talked of the hard times which were beginning, and how difficult it was in winter to obtain food. It was just about the holy time that the tree dreamed a dream. The tree had, doubtless, a kind of feeling that the festive time had arrived, and in his dream fancied he heard the bells ringing from all the churches round. And yet it seemed to him to be a beautiful summer's day, mild and warm. His mighty summit was crowned with spreading fresh green foliage. The sunbeams played among the leaves and branches, and the air was full of fragrance from herb and blossom. Painted butterflies chased each other. The summer flies danced around him, as if the world had been created merely for them to dance and to be merry in. All that had happened to the tree during every year of his life seemed to pass before him, as in a festive procession. He saw the knights of olden times and noble ladies ride by through the wood on their gallant steeds, with plumes waving in their hats and falcons on their wrists. The hunting horn sounded and the dogs barked. He saw hostile warriors in colored dresses and glittering armor, with spear and halberd, pitching their tents and anon striking them. The watchfires again blazed, and men sang and slept under the hospitable shelter of the tree. He saw lovers meet in quiet happiness near him in the moonshine, and carve the initials of their names in the grayish-green bark on his trunk. Once, but long years had intervened since then. Guitars and Aeolian harps had been hung on his boughs by merry travelers. Now they seemed to hang there again, and he could hear their marvelous tones. The wood pigeons cooed as if to explain the feelings of the tree, and the cuckoo called out to tell him how many summer days he had yet to live. Then It seemed as if new life was thrilling through every fiber of root and stem and leaf, rising even to the highest branches. The tree felt itself stretching and spreading out, while through the root beneath the earth ran the warm vigor of life. As he grew higher and still higher, with increased strength, his topmost boughs became broader and fuller, and in proportion to his growth, so was his self satisfaction increased. And with it arose a joyous longing to grow higher and higher, to reach even to the warm, bright sun itself. Already had his topmost branches pierced the clouds, which floated beneath them like troops of birds of passage or large white swans. Every leaf seemed gifted with sight, as if it possessed eyes to see. The stars became visible in broad daylight, large and sparkling like clear and gentle eyes. They recalled to the memory the well-known look in the eyes of a child, or in the eyes of lovers who had once met beneath the branches of the old oak. These were wonderful and happy moments for the old tree, full of peace and joy. And yet, amidst all this happiness, the tree felt a yearning, longing desire that all the other trees, bushes, herbs, and flowers beneath him might be also able to rise higher as he had done, and to see all this splendor and experience the same happiness. The grand majestic oak could not be quite happy in the midst of his enjoyment, while all the rest, both great and small, were not with him. And this feeling of yearning trembled through every branch, through every leaf as warmly and fervently as if they had been the fibers of a human heart. The summit of the tree waved to and fro and bent downwards as if in silent longing he sought for something. Then there came to him the fragrance of time, followed by the more powerful scent of honeysuckle and violets, and he fancied he heard the notes of the cuckoo. At length his longing was satisfied. Up through the clouds came the green summits of the forest trees, and beneath him the oak saw them rising and growing higher and higher. Bush and herb shot upward, and some even tore themselves up by the roots to rise more quickly. The birch tree was the quickest of all. Like a lightning flash, the slender stem shot upwards in a zigzag line, the branches spreading around it like green gauze and banners. Every native of the wood, even to the brown and feathery rushes, grew with the rest, while the birds ascended with the melody of song. On a blade of grass that fluttered in the air like a long green ribbon sat a grasshopper, cleaning his wings with his legs. May beetles hummed, the bees murmured, the birds sang, each in his own way. The air was filled with the sounds of song and gladness. "But where's the little blue flower that grows by the water?" asked the oak. "And the purple bellflower and the daisy?" You see, the oak wanted to have them all with him. "Here we are, here we are here," sounded in voice and song. "But the beautiful time of last summer, where is that? And the lilies of the valley, which last year covered the earth with their bloom, and the wild apple tree with its lovely blossoms, and all the glory of the wood which has flourished year after year, even what may have now but sprouted forth, could be with us here." "We are here, we are here," sounded voices higher in the air, as if they had flown there beforehand. "Why, this is beautiful, too beautiful to be believed," said the oak in a joyful tone. "I have them all here, both great and small, not one has been forgotten. Can such happiness be imagined? It seemed almost impossible. Here, in the eternal, it can be imagined, and it is possible, sounded the reply through the air. And the old tree, as it still grew upwards and onwards, felt that his roots were loosening themselves from the earth. It is right, so it is best, said the tree. No fetters hold me now. I can fly up to the veriest highest point in the light and glory, and all I love are with me, both small and great. All are here. Such was the dream of the old oak. And while he dreamed, a mighty storm came rushing over land and sea at the holy time. The sea rolled in great billows toward the shore. There was a cracking and a crushing heard in the tree. The root was torn from the ground just at the moment when in his dream he fancied it was being loosened from the earth. He fell. His 365 years were past as the single day of the ephemera. On the morning when the sun rose, the storm had ceased. From all the churches sounded the festive bells, and from every hearth, even the smallest hut, rose the smoke into the blue sky, like the smoke from the festive thank offerings on the altars of the Druids from years gone by. The sea gradually became calm, and on board a great ship that had withstood the tempest during the night, all flags were displayed as a token of joy and festivity. The tree is down! The old oak, our landmark on the coast! Exclaimed the sailors. It must have fallen in the storm of last night. Who can replace it? Alas, no one. This was the funeral oration over the old tree, short but well meant. There it lay stretched on the snow-covered shore, and over it sounded the notes of a song from the ship, a song of joy and of redemption of the soul, and of the eternity that the tree had now found. Thus sounded the old carols, and everyone aboard the ship felt his thoughts elevated through the song and the prayer, even as the old tree had felt lifted up in its last and in its beautiful dream on that holy morn. Normally, at this point in our service, we light multiple candles of joy and concern, and our members and guests share that which weighs upon their mind heavily or sings joyfully from their heart. However, due to constraints of candles being used during stormy periods this winter, I'm going to use today's mini chalice as our soul candle for all joys and concerns. First, in recognition of the fact that we are going on the first year of virtual services when we shut down prior to all the restrictions imposed in the state of California and in the county of San Joaquin and the city of Stockton. First Unitarian Universalist Church of Stockton members and the board chose to be safe rather than sorry. For all those who have suffered in some way, shape, or form due to the pandemic. For all those who have endured and have managed to still find some pure enjoyment just in being alive. This candle is for them. For all who are celebrating a birth or a birth date or an anniversary or a wedding or winning a card game, a Zoom contest, opening your eyes and looking at the glories and wonders of nature. This candle is for you. For those who are in physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual pain, this candle is for you to give you strength to know that there is support and that our thoughts and wishes are that the pain subsides and that you are given a chance once again to breathe freely. This candle is for that, for you, for your loved ones. And this candle also represents the resiliency of the people of this world as we look forward to a new spring in the Northern Hemisphere and a new fall in the Southern Hemisphere. May this candle light us into new ways of thinking, new ways of being, and the hope of yet again being together. We pause now in silent meditation, thought, prayer, or contemplation. I hope on the first or third Sunday of any month that you please join us in our Zoom services and light a candle of your own. Until we can be together, blessings upon you all.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of love, come to me, come to me.
And now our responsive reading, number 4, in Lifting Our Voices by Lisa Friedman.
We touch the floor.
To remember that where we bring our best self is holy ground.
We reach for the sky.
To remember that we are a part of a mystery much bigger than ourselves.
We hold hands.
To remember that we need one another and are a part of one human family.
We join voices.
to remember that we each have a gift to offer the world and to use in making the world a better place. It is at this time in our service we usually pass the plate if we're in the building, and we listen to gorgeous music in the offertory. Since we cannot be together, this is a reminder to all members to send in their pledges, and to anyone watching, if you have something extra to give, we are always welcome and receiving at First Unitarian Universalist Church of Stockton, 2737 Pacific Avenue, Stockton, California, 95204. You can also call 209-466-7743 if you have anything to donate or questions, comments, anything that you're interested in learning about First Unitarian Universalist Church of Stockton. Thank you. The world as it was. You could not do this and you could not do that. A line from the Diary of Anne Frank, the play. Ping-pongs inside my head like atoms in the Hadron Collider. Smash, idea. Smash, reflection. Smash, something new. Smash, reconciliation. We are our memories and experiences, our hopes and dreams, the big moments that tear apart nations, and the quiet quotidian seconds that strengthen souls. This is not a usual sermon, not my usual sermon. It's a thought bubble, a poem of possibilities, a requiem for remorse. We oft look at the past with far too kindly a gaze. We gloss over the injustices. We underestimate the obstructions. We overvalue the glories, and we gainsay the sacrifices. We excuse behaviors that, if we chanced upon them now, would lead to an upheaval in our hearts, would ask of us to be both inflamed and resolute. For 13 years, I have taught the play The Diary of Anne Frank. Yet it was not until a pandemic, a virus ripping through communities, bleeding their resources dry, that I had students, all students, not just those previously traumatized, but every single student understand these words. You could not do this and you could not do that. They forced father out of his business. We had to wear yellow stars. I had to turn in my bike. I couldn't go to a Dutch school anymore. I couldn't go to the movies or ride in an automobile or even on a streetcar and a million other things. But somehow, we children still managed to have fun. Students in Stockton in 2021 may not comprehend a yellow star or the word streetcar. There may be scaffolding necessary to build a bridge to the people of the past, to the world as it was. They do grasp, however, the power of an entity, indiscriminate and haphazard, a desultory drain oozing away days of innocence, possessing periods of indulgence where personal control feels meaningless and time is a trite ritual for ordering one's life. Yet, one can still feel tangibly the richness of creating enjoyment, precious brief junctures of connection. Somehow we children still managed to have fun. The real normal doesn't seem real anymore, Mom, Nathaniel casually opines while gazing mournfully, hopefully, across an expanse only he can divine. Going back is not going to feel real until it is. Perhaps because we are never going back. We are going forward. Yes, we cannot do this and we cannot do that. We may have had our businesses, our everyday lives, our loved ones ripped away from us, but we are never going back. There is a trajectory of hope coursing through the spring air as vaccinations rise and numbers fall. No, we are never going back to the world as it was. We are on the precipice of the world that will be. May we take swift, decisive steps to meet it when it comes. Heads discerning, forward, smash, arms ready for hugging, smash, hearts opened, smash, lives engaged, smash, to who we were, to who we are, and to being together once again. May there be blessings upon us all. Shalom, salam, namaste, blessed be, and amen. Go in peace. Our extinguished chalice lighting words are number 679 in Singing the Living Tradition, and they're from the Buddhist teachings. Be ye lamps unto yourselves, be your own confidence. Hold to the truth within yourselves as to the only lamp.